Okay. And the moving part needs to come from.
Yeah. My name is Ciel Dafford, and I am a puppeteer. I'm from a family of artists, so art and theater and performance has always been an interest of mine. And I got into puppetry specifically because I find it one of the most fascinating, beautiful, interesting art forms there is. It's really the perfect combination of movement as well as performance. And I'm a little bit on the shy, introverted side. So for me, puppetry is a perfect way to be able to perform without having that spotlight on me directly, because everyone looks at the puppet instead. So as a little kid, I grew up watching Sesame Street and the Muppets, along with, millions of other kids. And I really thought that Kermit the Frog was real, like he was a real person or animal, and that he was really like a friend of mine. And I was so caught up in the magic of that he is a real person. He's not a puppet, come on. And watching films like Labyrinth or any of like Brian Froud's artwork, it's just so beautiful and fascinating what you can do with something that you don't need lots of special effects or budget. Of course, it's nice if you do, but anything can become a puppet, and it's really just your own imagination. Not only does puppetry involve the actual performance aspect of learning lines and cues and all of that technical stuff, but you also have the mechanics of the puppet that have to be choreographed. And you have to look at how do you create one action, even a simple gesture, like reaching for a glass of water. You have to plan how you're moving your body and how that makes the puppet move, as well as what is the audience going to notice? Are they going to look at the head or the hands or all of that kind of technical stuff? But I really do agree with the point that it has the most imagination required, because you have to be able to visualize how to create this puppet, how to paint it or dress it or whatever kind of form it'll take, and then how it's going to move, and then how it interacts with other puppets, other actors, all trying to cram in the same space. So it can be really complicated, but I think that's part of what makes it really fun too. When I was in the touring show of Pinocchio, we had one live actor playing Geppetto, and everyone else was a puppet. And they're a traditional kind of rod puppet where their face is actually just paper mache. So the face and the mouth and the eyes don't move at all. But after the performance, we were doing a question and answer with the kids in the audience. And one of the kids said something about how it was really cool how we could make the mouths move perfect with the way they were talking. And we all kind of paused a moment and said, well, their mouths don't move. And the little kid was just so insistent that, yeah, the puppets were talking. Their mouths were moving, their eyes were moving. And we had to show her that the puppets really don't move. But I just love that magic that you get there. That's something that I think you don't get a lot with other types of performance. The puppeteer, the director I worked for at Puppet Arts Theater in Jackson, Mississippi, Peter Zapletal, he is a really incredible puppeteer. He's been performing for about 40 years, and he worked with Jim Henson, and he's won Emmys for his puppetry work. He's an amazing mentor, and I learned everything literally from him. And aside from that, I really take a lot of inspiration from Brian Froud's artwork and some of his creature designs. I actually really want to, in the future at some point, start a puppet theater company producing theater for adults, so not really aimed at children, but doing like Shakespearean tragedy or even opera, things that you don't really think of traditionally with puppets. And I'm really, really into shadow puppets, the beautiful Balinese painted puppets. So my personal take on it is to look at like medieval illuminated manuscripts, make a shadow puppet sort of from that Western tradition. And how can I use that? Like what would Shakespeare have dressed these puppet figures like. So the best advice I've been given is really to just try things and experiment. You'll never know if it works unless you try. So going back to what we were saying earlier about puppetry the only limit is your imagination. So why not just try and see if you can make these really complex creations and see if it works. And thank you for your time.